Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Skep's Unnamed Deck Showcase. During my highly unsuccessful box run for Metal Foes and Trains, I accidentally pulled a playset of Mekk Blue Sky, so in the interest of showing off a semi-relevant current deck you're likely to see on ladder, I'd like to use today's episode to show off another build abusing Rescue Rabbit, Vanilla Mekk. Here we are with the deck, and as usual, I'll give you a brief history about the archetype we're playing before we go over the deck proper. Mekk represent the initial antagonist in the World Legacy storyline, in fact being the Mekstrosities referred to in the World Chalice monster flavor text, and canonically are the creatures that command the Crawler archetype. As a result, these cards are also supported by the World Legacy lineup of support cards. Now, when Mekk were released in the TCG and saw metagame success, it wasn't on their own merits as it is in Duel Links. Rather, they were a supplemental engine in Invoked, as Mekk did not need their normal summon, could benefit off of summoning a fusion monster to the extra monster zone, and were light attribute to facilitate the summoning of the best invoked fusion monster, which we don't have in Duel Links. Since we lack that important synergy, Mekk are more or less unplayable with Invoked, so we're playing them on their own. What we do have in Duel Links is a lack of hand traps making Rescue Rabbit much easier to resolve and less field zones, making it easier to floodgate our opponent out of the game with Mekk continuous back row. With these concepts in mind, let's talk over our deck one card at a time. First up, of course, no deck in Duel Links is complete without its skill. We are playing Dr. Valiant Crowler and Middle-Aged Mechs, allowing us to place an Ancient Gear Castle in our spell and trap zone, setting us up a column going first with this and a monster in the extra monster zone to continue our Mekk plays. Important to note, I could not lose the die roll to save my life playing this deck, so this definitely helped me going first. Another skill you can play is Surprise Present and the Assault Mode Activate Engine instead of Rescue Rabbit. I don't own those cards, so I'm not playing them. This is why we're playing Middle-Aged Mechs. It's the other best skill for the deck, and it's the one I could play. Additionally, we're playing one copy of Purple Nightfall because it's the only one I pulled. I wasn't really worried about pulling for Mekk I was just interested in Metal Foes and Trains. I accidentally got a Mekk Blue Sky while I was opening guaranteed SR deals and got two from the pack, so I had a playset and figured might as well because I also had the Morningstar. Still haven't pulled Anger Knuckle, what a shame. So we were playing one copy of Mekk Yellow Star. You could cut this and play a second of our last one of Indigo Eclipse. These are all... This one is just for utility. You should probably be going up on Purple Nightfall as well, because it is functionally the best card in your deck, because the Mekk we're playing three of, Blue Sky, only searches cards if your opponent has monsters or cards in their column, so going first, this will search you nothing, unless you're playing, of course, the Assault modes, the Surprise Presence skill with Assault mode, where you set Assault mode activate on their field, then you'll get your searches off of Blue Sky that way. This is mostly just a powerful going second card as well as follow-up, because more often than not what we're doing is we're summoning Mekk Purple Nightfall off of World Legacy Memory, searching Indigo Eclipse, summoning Indigo Eclipse, moving it, and if we have Blue Sky in hand, that's our follow-up play. I'll speak a bit about their functionality individually. I've already explained the three of. We're playing this because it is the best one to open going second. We're playing one of this because it's just flex back row. It comes up in a game against Dark Magician, but if you're playing rank 5s that deal with back row, you could obviously cut this. We are playing Purple Nightfall, of course, the best one. What this one does is it targets a Mekk monster you control. It doesn't have to be itself. It can be anyone. Banish it until the standby phase of my next turn. And if you do, add one Mekk monster from your deck to your hand, except Purple Nightfall, and this is a hard once per turn. You are searching Mekk Indigo Eclipse when you go first, because what this card does is once per turn, you can target one Mekk monster you control, move that target to another of your main monster zones. This is how you're turning on your floodgates, and also how you are making additional plays. You're special summoning this between your Ancient Gear Castle and your monster in the extra monster zone, then moving it out of the way so you can summon another Mekk. You're also on your opponent's turn moving it to a zone to stop their spell or monster or trap activations. We can't stop spells because both this card and the Spell Negator share a limited list spot, so we are only allowed one of the two, and this one is much better. We're playing, of course, 3 copies of the most botched localization of all time, Mekk Avram. This is, of course, mandatory if you're playing Rescue Rabbit, because with Avram, Rescue Rabbit becomes a 1-card Morningstar, which is how you're making plays. Additionally, we're playing another starter, World Legacy's Memory, Special summon one Mekk Knight monster from your hand or deck in defense position, but return to the hand during the end phase. This is the roughest part of the card. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Mekk Knight monsters, a hard once per turn as well. This means we can't summon Avram from our deck, make Imduck, and then have a zone for our Mekk Knights. Very rough. Imduck, of course, I'll explain why we're playing it later. I'm not going to say anything more about it now. The last spell we're playing, World Legacy Key. You can cut this. A lot of decks aren't playing it. It kind of came in handy for me in that I did negate 2 traps in one turn in one game with this. And I also recovered a card banished off of Magician Navigation and Magician's Circle. So given that you see a lot of Dark Magicians on ladder, it perhaps isn't the worst recoverability tool in the game, but definitely cuttable. These are the 2 flex spots, I think. Yellow Star and Legacy Key. You can, of course, just cut Key for the second purple or cut yellow for a second purple. Either of the 2 works, or you can cut both of them and play 2 purple, 2 indigo. That's entirely player preference. Our limited card of choice, World Legacy Secret. This card is gosh darn crazy. Target a level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard. Special summon it when this card leaves the field. Destroy that monster. Negate any monster effect that activates in the same column as the Mekk Knight monster you control. Obviously, this is very powerful. It's also a little weird because we only have 1 of it. You're in situations where you really want to activate it just to get your floodgate effect off. But because of how your first turn played out, you don't have a level 5 or higher monster to special summon off of it. So you activate it once just to get it into rotation and to negate your monster effects, but you're losing out on the revive special effect. So it's a little weird being at 1, but we can't have it at more than 1 because this card is disgusting. Our last card is Crackdown. This is a great disruption tool that sets up your zones because it stays face up on the field. You can steal an opponent's monster with Crackdown. Keep it, special summon a Mekk Knight, then you can link that monster off with the monster you stole for a Morning Star to continue your plays that way. Very powerful, very strong. And this deck wins games because of Crackdown. That's just because of how strong Crackdown is. That's the 20 cards. I don't have a whole lot to talk about with this deck because it's very straightforward. Your normal summoning Rescue Rabbit, making Morning Star, or your special summoning Blue Sky if you're going second and winning the game. I actually had someone who T-set and passed just scooped when I special summoned Blue Sky. They must not have had their manual zone placement setting turned on. But that's really the deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. I'll speak about the Xyz first. 1 copy of Keeper of Armageddon because I was in a situation where I really wanted to have it against Dark Magician. I still ended up winning the game, but I had to play a little weird by making some odd plays to put Mekk Knights in the graveyard to banish with Yellow Star to pop the Eternal Soul when I could have just overlaid 2 Blue Sky, 1 summoned off of memory. Not 1 summoned off of memory. Up over the course of 2 turns, they left a Blue Sky on my field, so I could make Ardreas that way. And that would have circumvented the need to play weirdly to put Mekk Knights in the graveyard for Yellow Star. Additionally, like I'm saying, if you're playing Ardreas, you can probably cut the Yellow Star. You could also play Zen Mains as well if you don't own this card, because Zen Mains is just an R. But the problem with that is so many set cards are chainable. 1 copy of Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. I was on a more robust 8 package, but I'm only playing 2 8s. And you need 3 to summon the other rank 8 Galaxy Eyes. So I'm just playing 1 for a niche removal setting. This steals an opponent's monster, makes it Galaxy Eyes, makes it its attack 3,000, and lets it attack. Restricts you from attacking directly, except with the monster you stole. 1 copy of Sanafon for Dark Magician, for Lunalight, for Salamangreat specifically. And also for Infernoid, of course. Very strong card, protects itself from card effects, and is pretty hard to out a defense position monster with over 3,000 defense. These are the flex Xyz I would play. Next up, we're playing 1 copy of Imduck for scenarios in which we have to normal summon an Avram. 1 copy of Security Dragon because we can make it with any 2 monsters in the game, and it works really well with Guard Dragon. Of course, we're playing Ningirsu because, I mean, Security Dragon into Ningirsu is just so powerful. And then 1 copy of Morning Star. You really want to be playing 2 of this. Ideally, you would cut the Penis Stag for the second Morning Star. Again, I'm not too worried about building Mekk Knights. This is just something I accidentally happened to throw together while pulling for other decks I wanted to play. And I wanted to show it off for anyone else who happens to have some of the necessary cards to make it. Pincer Tag just like gives your linked monsters piercing damage. It might as well have no effect. It's a link 2 monster you can make with any monster, and it has a situationally better effect than Security Dragon if you can't co-link it to anything. So let's talk about Mekk Knight Morningstar, the reason to play the deck here. 2 monsters including a Mekk Knight monster, meaning if you steal a monster off Crackdown and Normal Summon Avram, you can make it. 2 monsters, including a Mekk Knight monster. If this card is Link Summon, discard a Mekk Knight monster or 1 World Legacy card. Add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. This is actually kind of nice because I was speaking before about how sometimes you don't have a monster revive off this. If you draw a Blue Sky going first, you can send Blue Sky to the graveyard. You're not going to get its search effect off, but you are going to get to revive something. And 2,500 defense is nothing to shake a stick at. So this is just another way of turning your additional World Legacy secret effect online. Once per turn, if your Mekk Knight monster battles in opponent's... Oh, not once per turn. The first effect is a hard once per turn. This is just really funny and no one reads it. If your Mekk Knight monster battles an opponent's monster in a different column than it, your monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. This is so funny because it means if they're not running into your World Legacy secret by summoning monsters into the same zone as your Mekk Knights, they're not going to be able to destroy your monsters by battle. Having secret and... Morningstar live at the same time is real strong. I wouldn't be surprised if this deck gets nerfed again, if we either see Blue Sky and maybe like Indigo to 2, or something I'd like to see is put Morningstar, Secret, and Whispers to 3, because I think maybe 1 of each Spell and Trap and 1 copy of Morningstar, while still rough, is also very easy to overcome because they won't have the recoverability of multiple Morningstar, which again I think is optimal. Definitely want to be playing 2 if you have it, but I don't have it, so we're playing 1. That's the deck. I think it was simultaneously incredibly strong and also very frustrating to play while I was gathering replays. I mentioned before I could like never lose the die roll, so most of these games aren't going to be showing the power level of Mekk Knight going second, but I think that is fairly self-explanatory, right? If you have a card that searches you 2 cards, if you go second, probably going to be a pretty powerful deck, but this will showcase what you can do going first with this deck. Let's hop into some replays and show it off to you. First match going to be up against the ladder special Yami Yugi on Dark Magician. We're going to actually go second. I think the only time I was ever able to go second in this particular recording session. We're going to let them go first. They're going to normal summon Magician's Rod, search the circle, activate the circle, very riveting gameplay, add the Dark Magician. They're going to activate Spellbook of Knowledge, getting that rod off the field, setting 2 cards, and passing. We're going to activate Middle-Aged Mechs. That's going to set up our zones. We're going to special summon Indigo Eclipse. They're going to Book of Moon. We can chain it to free up our column. That goes face down. We're going to special summon Purple Nightfall. We're going to tag that out for a Blue Sky. They're going to activate Eternal Soul. Really weird choice from them, banishing our Indigo Eclipse instead of our Spell Trap. We did have a Spell Trap to set to make another column, but they didn't know that. They also special summon to the middle zone, meaning we get to search 2 cards. We're going to link off Avram that we special summoned with Memory and Blue Sky to summon the Mekk Knight Morningstar. Morningstar is going to pitch our other Avram to search Key. Key is going to be activated in the Eternal Soul column to negate its effects, but we are, of course, going to special summon Yellow Star, banish the Avram, blow up the Eternal Soul, blow up their board, and they give up because we have lethal on the field. Game number 2 here up against a Silvio Sawatari. This person's going to be on Cleforts. This is a pretty weird game. They surrender really early. I think they might have been able to beat me because I'm not sure if Security Dragon into Ningirsu would have gotten me the win. It might have. But you'll see what I mean by that. We're, of course, going first. Cannot go second to save my life. We don't have Blue Sky, though, so that doesn't really matter. Morningstar or Yellow Star is nothing else if not a big ass. So that's another defensive wall they'll have to break through. We're going to make Morningstar, of course, normal summoning Rescue Rabbit. If you're going second, if you're going first, you got to open Rescue Rabbit. And I'm very good at Yu-Gi-Oh!, so I never not open Rescue Rabbit. There's Nightfall. We're going to banish that for Indigo Eclipse. We're going to special summon Indigo Eclipse, move that over, special summon Yellow Nightfall, and we set the trap. So once we shift over our Nightfall, all of their monster effects will be negated on the field. I move it over now because I figure there are some Cleforts that have effects when tribute summoned. So I figured let's just get them out of the way before they can Pendulum Summon. They get our Mekk Knight Morningstar out of rotation. Really rough because I do not have a second copy. We banish that for Blue Sky. We're going to Mekk Knight. We're going to World Legacy Key here so that those traps are shut off. We're going to banish. They're going to activate Pulse Mines. That's going to be negated. We're going to Link Summon our Penis Stag for no reason other than to get a monster into the graveyard. I wanted to destroy their Pulse Mines, which is why I did that, so I could revive the Yellow Star. Didn't end up mattering. We're going to destroy 2 of our monsters and get in for a lot of damage here. So we'll see here. If we have a way of getting Avram, then I could have made a play to out their board. But if I couldn't, then they might have won because I literally cannot get over a lot of their monsters. Although with Pentastag and Purple Nightfall, we did probably secure the victory there. So I guess it makes sense that they surrendered. There's not much they could have done. So that's our match against Clifforts, showing off negating multiple traps in a turn by utilizing our Indigo Eclipse effect properly. Moving swiftly on here, we've got a game against Supreme King Jaden on Evil Heroes. Of course, can't lose the die roll to save our life when we want to go second. That's just how it works. We're going to be drawing a hand of Rescue Rabbit, Avram, Indigo Eclipse, and Crackdown. Just that easy, folks. I don't know. We do have a way because we drew Avram. We're going to discard that off Morningstar for our memory so we can get Purple Nightfall into rotation to get Indigo Eclipse, or I think we opened Indigo Eclipse. Did I just say that? I did indeed just say that. So we're probably going to search Blue Sky for follow-up or Yellow Sky. Oh, or we just play poorly and we discard the Indigo Eclipse. I guess I really just valued having the Floodgate online. They're going to Stratos. It ends up being correct that I do that so I can bring back Purple Nightfall. That's going to negate Stratos at point of resolution. And we have our Indigo Eclipse online, meaning we can move it to any other zone we need to stop them from activating anything. They're going to Dark Calling, summoning Evil Hero Wild Cyclone. I have no interest in letting that card resolve, even though it's in the same zone as a Mekk Knight, so it wouldn't resolve anyway. We're going to steal their Wild Cyclone. We're going to switch our monster to attack position, normal summon Avram, and they give up. All right, I'm personally sick of ladder, so we're playing against some friends again. We've got Doc, friend of the channel, on Silvio Sawatari, playing Abyss Actors, I believe, here. We're going to go first here, as usual. Just abandon hope. You will never lose the coin toss unless you want to go first. We're going to activate Middle Age Mechs, placing that in the column. We drew Rescue Rabbit. Are you sick of me playing decks with Rescue Rabbit in it? I hope not. We're going to Link Summon Mekk Knight of the Morningstar. Going to activate Mekk Knight of the Morningstar, sending our Blue Sky to the graveyard, getting Secret online. We're going to activate World Legacy Memory to summon Nightfall, activate Nightfall, banish itself for Indigo Eclipse. We're going to set a copy of Crackdown, summon Indigo Eclipse, move that sucker over, and set our Floodgate. They're going to activate Mellow Madonna. Mellow Madonna is going to pay him 1,000 life points to search Superstar. I think I probably threw by not activating the Floodgate beforehand, but they probably would have just summoned it to a zone that I didn't have a Mekk Knight in, because if I'm correct, I don't have a level 5 or higher. Oh, shit, yeah, no, I misplayed. I was supposed to activate Secret way before that, but they had Cosmic Cyclone, so it wouldn't have ended up mattering, but if they didn't have Cyclone, that probably would have been the correct thing to do. We're going to Crackdown, stealing the Superstar, because I just want them to destroy one card, but they had the second one that'll destroy both of our cards. The reason I did that, I'll just say, is because I had no way of knowing that they would have had a second Abyss King, and by stealing the Superstar, they would have to guarantee destroy my Crackdown, meaning they would have to go to battle phase, and they couldn't hit over both my cards because Wild Hope is weaker than one of them, so I would have been able to, they would have passed back to me, and I would have had another card to draw to potentially come back from that. Didn't end up mattering because our opponent drew, of course, the second Abyss King, popped both our monsters, and killed us. That really did not feel like a close game at all. They just had everything. Back against Doc on Soulburner, playing post-ban list. Salman, great. We're going to be going first fucking again. So we're going to win the coin toss here. They're going to pretty much blow us out immediately, which is very funny. I don't know if I played this super optimally, but going first really didn't help. We're going to normal summon Rescue Rabbit, drew 2 of it. Rescue Rabbit is dead if you open multiples, unlike in Metal Foes, sadly. So this is just a dead card in our hand that we can't discard because Morningstar needs us to discard Mekk Knight specifically. We're going to make Morningstar here. We're going to activate Morningstar, send Avram to the graveyard, get Memory. Memory, of course, for purple. Purple's going to activate to banish itself, searching the Indigo Eclipse. They're going to summon it. We're going to summon Indigo Eclipse and move it. We basically have one form of interaction. I have no idea if they have good cards in their hand or not, so I really, really play badly here. And I shotgun Crackdown. I did not want to give them a way to make Balinks, but they had Signet Mining and Falco for Gazelle, so they can do their whole combo without it. And of course, they open more than that. I'm just going to let them combo off. You've seen my Soundman Great video. You know how the combos work. They're going to foul here. I'm just fast forwarding. They're going to link summon Balinks. That's going to trigger the Sanctuary. They're going to shuffle back Gazelle. They could have played this turn differently, but they shuffle back the Gazelle, so that gives me some hope if they don't kill us here. They're going to make Sunlight Wolf, add back Jaguar, make Heat Leo. That's going to shuffle back my Crackdown. They're going to take back the Jaguar, set 2 cards, and pass. We're going to activate purple. They're going to Needle Ceiling and tag out Balinks. That seals them up the game. Wow. Oof. Real rough. All right, folks, since y'all have been such good little boys, girls, and beyond, and I figure you deserve a treat, we're going to show off a Game 6 here up against friend of the show, Swamp, playing Crystron's, baby. Crystron's, of course, getting a couple tools back on the most recent ban list. I wanted to run a game against him, and of course, we're going first. God damn it. We're going to normal summon Rescue Rabbit, must be nice, banishing Rescue Rabbit, summoning 2 Avrams from the deck. We're going to make Morningstar. We're going to pitch Blue Sky here. We've got 2 Crackdown, so I'm not too worried about their plays. We just need to keep them off of cards they can destroy. We're going to discard Blue Sky for Memory, Memory for Purple, Purple for Indigo. Indigo going to summon itself here. We're going to move that shit over. We're going to set a second Crackdown and pass. They're going to normal summon this. Fistfern, normally if you open Smyger, you use it first. So I have a feeling that they have an extender in hand. It turns out I was right. They did open Psychic Wielder, and I knew they would have opened Fistfern because Swamp is good at the game. So they definitely opened, not Fistfern, Smyger. They definitely opened Smyger going first. So I'm like, we got to keep him off that level 3 at all cost. We can't let him destroy this card. So we're going to take that with Crackdown. They do open Solfefnir. Did I say Smyger? I meant Solfefnir. I keep getting their damn names mixed up. So because they go Solfefnir second, that tells me something's up. I'm going to wait and see what they summon off Solfefnir. They're going to summon Fistfern, and at this point I'm like, they've made the 3 again. They definitely have Wielder specifically, so we got to keep them off of 3s. I figure those 2 cards in hand aren't going to do anything for them because they already normal summon. They have Impact, but we have cards that deal with Impact. They're going to set 1 and pass, and we can do our combo to kill them. I spent a little time thinking here. I end up making Pentastag, normal summon Avram to make the World Chalice Dragon, and that will make Ningirsu, meaning we can send their Fistfern to the graveyard to send either Impact or what they summon off Impact to the graveyard and attack them for lethal, and that's how we take the game. Really coming in clutch, showing off why we're playing Ningirsu. Because even if you can't use their stolen monster for Morningstar, you can send it to the graveyard with Ningirsu and remove their resources on field. Pretty good, but mostly just showing off the power of Crackdown. I feel like you could have destroyed any deck if you kept them off of their plays with 2 Crackdown and then just made this generic extra deck monster. Perhaps not the best showing of Mekk Knights, but a showing nonetheless. So we're back with the deck, and to speak completely honestly, I kind of hated playing this deck. I could not lose the die roll to save my life. It ended up being really frustrating when I couldn't massively plus off Blue Sky into like a Galaxy Eyes player that just no-brains their way into a combo that kills you for 40 million damage. It was really frustrating playing a deck that wants to go second more than any deck in the game and just not getting the opportunity to. Like, normally people are mad that they're winning the die roll, but, like, I'd like to lose it from time to time, please. Additionally, I think there are definitely improvements to be made. If you want to build this deck specifically, Definitely go with the Assault Mode Activate build because that turns your blue sky on when you go first, since you can't guarantee you go second. If you happen to really like my Rescue Rabbit build, the main changes are mess around with your Xyz monsters. There's a Galaxy Eyes suite you can play if you play more copies of Indigo, to where you can make the 3-mat rank 8 Galaxy Eyes and play 2 other Galaxy Eyes for 3 removal spells in a rank 8 package. Additionally, you definitely want to be playing 2 Morningstar. Although having Pentastag would have won me that game against Cleaforts if they didn't surrender, so maybe you'd still play Cleaforts. I don't know. Maybe you just play, like these 2 rank 8s in a second Mekk Knight if you don't have this UR. There's a lot of mixing and matching you can do, but my main piece of advice is go up on Morningstar. Don't need to max out on it. You're not going to need 3, but you will definitely want to have 2. And then again, mess around with your ratios of Yellow Star, Key, Purple, and Eclipse. You definitely want to be playing at least 2 Nightfall if you have it. But you can play 1 to 2 Eclipse and cut the Key and Yellow Star. But I liked Key. I did like it. I think because Dark Magician is, in my experience, what I'm running up against most on ladder, having a card that recovers your banished resources is nice. That's really all I have to say about it. I can see why the deck would be the best in tournament, especially with the Assault Mode skill clogging your opponent's back row, because you just can't play around them, really. Even if your effects are on manual, your zones are on manual placement, you're going to put a card in your opponent's zone for blue sky. It's just inevitable. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you stuck around to the end, maybe leave a comment. I guess it boosts the video in the eyes of the algorithm, and I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. So that's that. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're enjoying these videos and would like to see me make them live, I record them live on Twitch. I play games against viewers as well. Mostly been doing Pokemon Unite stuff recently, though. I do have a fun little holiday video planned because we have a very festive card in the game, and we do have cards that make it work, but I'll just spoil you right now. If you're already too burnt out on Metal Foes, don't get too excited because it's another deck using those cards. Thank you so much for watching. Please look forward to the next video, and if I can pull a copy of Giant Hand, I'll have a lot of other cool decks to make. Spoiler alert, I have Utopia fully built. I'm just waiting on pulling Giant Hand to make it. All right, get out of here. Bye-bye. Mwah.